Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to know the difference between bullying and girls just being girls. Today, we're here with Kim Emery-Poulin. She is the current Classic United States Regency International, and she will share with you what that is all about, as you can see her crown. And she is also the founder of TADA, Totally Accepting Different Abilities. Kim, I have been looking forward to this interview, this episode with you for a long time. And I'm so glad that we are finally able to do this. You are one amazing woman.
Oh, thank you.
You are. I'm not just saying that. You are completely dynamic. And I want to give the viewers some background of who you are and how you came to the Regency title and United States Regency title, as well as where TADA came from and why you're so passionate about it. So I'm going to go into a little backstory, but I know about this much of it, and it's your life, so you know this much of it.
Yes.
And at an early age, Kim had an accident, and now I'm going to let you take over.
Okay. I fell into, and it's important to know, it was into a lawnmower. I did not get run over by one. It was a riding lawnmower. I was 2 years old, and I just came around the corner of my house and boop, right into it. So that left me with a permanent disability for the rest of my life. It affected my growth. It affected the way my brain developed. It affected the way my metabolism developed. It affected the way my legs grew. It just affected every single part because I spent 3 years in a hospital where I was not able to go home. So when you put all of that trauma, radiation, all that together, it left me with several different disabilities that I live with on a daily basis, and I warrior through every single day. But honestly, I wouldn't change it because I learned to be me from it. So that happened when I was 2. And then I grew up being really bullied, though, unfortunately, and we'll get into that. I had a great support system in my dad and my grandma. So when it got to the point where somebody literally said, you can never do a pageant, they don't let cripples win pageants, they entered me in the pageant. The girl who said that did not place. I got first runner up, and I just never stopped doing them from there. Yes, I loved it because the pageant saw all of me as a person, not just like the modeling or acting industry, which would have saw the physical aspects of me. So I really enjoyed the industry. And that's how I ended up here with this awesome Regency title. Last year, I was Florida Regency. I went to nationals and I won the United States title. So this year I'm representing our whole country, and I will be back in Vegas at the best system ever, Regency International, in July.
Now, what exactly is the Regency? Because before meeting you, I had not heard about it.
Okay. Regency International is a pageant system owned by a lady named Miss Terry and her daughter. And we compete in 4 areas of competition. It is very community service based. They want a title holder who's going to have a cause that they champion, that's going to be a role model in their community. They want a title holder who's caring for themselves internally and externally. And they want a positive person to get out there and just feel really good about themselves and represent the group, the age group that they're in a motivational way. So I'm in the 45 and up division. Just gave away my age. And I'm so proud of it.
27. You just blew it.
No, classics 45 and up. And I love it. It's the best division in my opinion because we're classic, we're classy, and we have what we want. Now we're just polishing it up into our legacy, right? So right. I love the classic division. It's so much fun. And our goal is just inspire other people our age to keep being inspirational, keep being that role model, and keep leading the cause to be thriving women, not just getting through our daily lives. So that's what Regency is all about. It's a pageant system to motivate women to be the very best they can be, starting at age 4.
And you are inspirational. And so is that how old you were when you went and did your first pageant?
No, I was actually 12. I was 12. So
Okay.
it was about a little over 30 some odd years ago. And it was just really as a result of the comment the girl made. And it was a culmination, though. I mean, I really was getting a lot of bullying, and it was really building up and building up. And when I came home and finally cried, I'm not a crier. So when I finally cried, my dad said, I've had enough. And this is a positive thing we can do, because whether you win, lose, or draw, they're going to see that you are as talented and confident and able as everyone else. My grandmother was in pageants. She was Miss New Jersey America. So he called her, they put me in it together, and that was all they wanted, just for me to get up there and limp because I couldn't move my leg at all, and just be me and be happy and show everybody it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on, and you're walking. That's like that much of me. So I did actually interview, beauty, photogenic, and swimsuit that time. So I put it all out there, and I loved it. I was so much, it was just like a big show getting to play dress up for a day, and I was hooked. Yeah.
At 12 years old,
Huh?
you get up there on a stage in front of people who are judging you for how you look, how you walk, how you think, how you talk. And you, I mean, you had to be a little nervous, right?
A lot nervous, always.
But you
Always.
did it. But you
Yeah.
did it.
Absolutely, because that's all you can do in life. You know, you're nervous about something, you face it. So I was petrified of heights, Linda, petrified. I mean, I couldn't even stand on a chair. I went skydiving.
And do you still walk with a limp? Because you and I have never met face to face.
I know. Soon Friday, I'm excited. So I had my second total knee replacement a year ago on July 31st. And that I was told when I went to sleep for the surgery, I would either wake up without a leg, with a temporary knee replacement, or with my leg fused again. I woke up with my knee on a motion machine. Dr. Palumbo at Florida Ortho, my gosh, is an angel. I woke up, I was on a machine. My knee was moving 110 degrees for the first time in my life. I went from nothing to 45 degrees to 110. I now have 120 degrees and I can ride a bike. So I have the motion. I don't necessarily have the strength yet. That's my this year's goal. So I can ride a bike and I can walk without a limp, but only for a short amount of time. I have to really work on it, really, really focus on it, which is hard mentally and physically, and it's painful. So I need to build those muscles that have never been used.
Right.
So that's my goal this year. Mm-hmm.
Good for you. So remind me what the results of that first pageant were.
I was first runner up. And then actually the girl that won, Michelle Ann Neves, went the very next weekend and won Miss Mass Teen USA. So she went on to the big Miss USA pageant. So you know how they say the first, the winner can no longer be. So I ended up taking the title. So I was Massachusetts' most beautiful teen for a whole year. I was like, that's right, girl with a lip. But, and it really was more than that. It was such a great experience with challenging myself to do something I'd never done before and doing it in spite of, it's not in spite of in a negative way, but to inspire other people that when someone tells them they can't, it means that the person speaking can't, not you.
It's such a good point.
Yes. They're giving off their own insecurity and trying to give it to you. Don't own it. Absolutely not. And every time I get on stage, I do so because I want somebody like me to see, oh, she's got scars. Oh, she's not 6 feet tall. I'm only 5'3". I'm like one of the shortest people ever on stage. Yeah, I don't mind. I just want him to see, oh, she's not blonde. She's not that. She's just a normal girl with scars and a normal part. And she's up there having the time of her life. I could do this too, because people in pageantry really do make a difference in their communities. We give more community service hours as a whole than any other organization, and on a whole win more presidential service awards by the government than any other group of people. So it is not all about beauty and what you're wearing. It's your entire everything, inside to the outside. It's the whole package.
I was going to say there's more inner beauty involved, I think, than outer beauty. We all enjoy looking at beautiful things, my beautiful background, the beautiful sky and the beautiful water out there, and beautiful people. We enjoy looking at beautiful people. But you know what I enjoy more than looking at beautiful people? Looking at beautiful hearts, in experiencing beautiful people, which means the beauty from the inside. Personally, I enjoy that more than anything. And that's why I'm so thrilled to meet you and learn your story. Because when you and I first met over text and emails, we hadn't met face to face. Well, we kind of we kind of were on
a seminar together we took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that you had a disability. I would have never known that you had a disability unless you told me. So let's talk about TADA.
Okay, awesome. So in 2008, I won Ms. Florida, United States. I had gone back to that system for the second time. I had won Miss United States when I lived in Massachusetts, decided I wanted to do the next age group up. I had been doing a lot of speaking at school, just telling my story. It was all about me. And I kind of felt like two things were wrong with that. First of all, it's not all about me. Let's just face it. It's never all about you, right? But second of all, let's just be real. But second of all, I wasn't using all of my skill sets. So I'm a teacher who writes curriculum, who can teach entire large groups of people. Wait, why am I only speaking to small groups of kids here and there? So I decided to take a bunch of anti-bullying classes online. And I went to my school, and this is probably the saddest part of the story. I went to the school I was teaching at the time, and I said, I've taken all these classes. Here's my certifications. I've paid for them. I have this curriculum. I'd love to start this here. And they said, no, we don't have the funding. I said, I'll fund it. No, we don't have a problem here. I taught intensive reading. These are the children with disabilities. These are the ethnic children. These are the impoverished. So they call them the trifecta kids, which if I could ever cancel a phrase ever, classifying kids by their economic and color and, please. And they didn't have a bullying problem, except every single day, kids were walking by my classroom calling my students retarded reader. Going to retard reading? That's bullying. That's bullying. So they turned a blind eye, and I said, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to do this here, I know who will do it. And I called them my pageant sisters, because pageantry is a family. And I started out real small. And I also made the decision we were going to grassroots it. This was not going to become your flavor of the week charity where people sign up, get, because they have a title, get bored and quit. I went to teachers in the pageant community and said, do you want to start this club? I will pay for it. I will give you the curriculum. And to date, as far as I know, I'm the only system, anti-bullying organization, that's a weekly lesson that's structured after school as a club. So it's not just get together and do your own thing. There's pointed and targeted lessons about interacting with people of different races, genders, ethnicities, accepting different abilities. That's how we start. And then it builds up to helping those that are being bullied, strategies against it, as well as helping those that are doing the bullying. And it's a full year program. I've yet to have a club close, and I'm now up to 158, I call them TADA crews, across this country. So I took my speeches, grew them, used my education degree, and now it's a really big organization. It's my baby. I'm so proud of it.
Well, you
my
should
second baby.
Because not only have you taken something that you created, because I know what that's like, taking something that you created and have put it into fruition, but your cause is to stop bullying, something that is growing every day.
So here's a funny one. The definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Do you know how many people tell me that's the point of my club? Not in a malicious way. They ask, does it ever drive you nuts? Because bullying is never going to go away. Kids will be kids. Girls will be girls. Boys will be boys. This is true. Kids will be mean to each other. And it's important to understand. And it's because of boredom, jealousy, competition. It's a natural human thing. But there's a difference between teasing and bullying. Bullying is systematic. Bullying has an intent to harm. Bullying is repetitive towards one person. It is very malicious in its harm. It's premeditated. It's not that off joke you accidentally make to a friend and then go, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not bullying. That's interacting, socially. That's why I'm so opposed of girls will be girls, boys will be boys. Politeness does not know a gender. It does not know an age. There is no excuse for being mean simply because you're a girl or a boy. basic standards of human behavior and interaction towards each other mean you don't pick on someone's economic status, their race, their religion, their physical, mental ability. You don't pick on their nose, their ears, their hair. You just don't do it over and over and over again with the intent to harm one another. And when I heard that, first time someone said that to me, I said, that might be true. I'm probably never going to solve bullying, right? I'm not Jesus. I wish I could. I would love it. But I am making a difference. In the schools that have the programs, the numbers are going down. The kids have resources. They're not alone the way I was. We're talking the 80s and 90s. There were no programs like this. So I'm giving them that resource, but also I'm teaching them the difference between being hypersensitive is almost the word I want to say too, because it is a two-way street. If there was a time when everything was bullying, your best friend turns around and says to you, you cut your hair, it looks dumb. She's bullying me, and suspensions were ensuing. So it's sort of, I'm protecting kids too, in a way, and giving them that allowance to say a boo-boo and talk about it. I said this, I shouldn't have said this. This wasn't right. I will never say it again. Therefore, it's not bullying. So I'm doing this for so many different ways, and reasons, like how to talk to somebody with a different ability. How many times have you seen someone in a wheelchair where the person can't make eye contact, or worse yet, they kneel down in front of them and get right into their chair? And then, no, just like anybody else. So we go over that, and then we go over what to do if you're being bullied.
So let's go over it, because there's probably a lot of people out there right now who aren't quite sure how to approach someone who has a different ability. So what is the proper, you just approach them just like you approach anybody else?
Let me answer your question with a question. You have brown hair. Do I walk up to you and go, how come you have brown hair? Where'd you get brown hair from? What happened with the brown hair? Aren't you blonde? I mean, so, I can't tell you how many times I'd walk into a shoe store. I hope our shoes didn't make you walk that way. What? No, and they never will, as they go back out the door. I mean, just silly comments. And people think they're being funny, but that kind of thing is insensitive. Basically, you don't have a right to ask people personal questions until they're truly your friends and they've opened that door for you. If they want to volunteer it, there's a cue. But otherwise, this is not a conversation for day one. We're just meeting. Hey, my name's Kim. Hey, nice to meet you. Why are you in a wheelchair? I mean, that's just rude. That is not, it's no different than asking someone, why are you a size 2? Why are you male? I mean, but it all does kind of fall under common sense, which is why I don't feel like the definition of insanity. I know I'm bringing points up and making a difference, and I'm seeing kids improve, and I'm seeing numbers go down. But it will never get cured, but we are getting a better understanding.
So basically, we just treat people with different abilities just like everyone else. Is that what you're saying?
We are like everybody else. We're exactly the same. We just do things our own way. I get from point A to B. I do it my way.
Yeah, I have different abilities too, but they're just not as visible.
That's what I was about to bring up. That's the other danger. So there are invisible disabilities. There's autism, and there's dyslexia. There's over 100 laundry list. Okay, so good rule of thumb. My dad always taught me this. I love my dad. He's my best friend. If I haven't already said that, he always told me to err on the side of right. So whatever you're about to say, make sure that you would feel right saying it to somebody or about someone. If you hesitate even for a second, shut your mouth. Don't say it, because now you are being a bully, or you're going to say something that's going to get you in trouble, or you're not doing the right thing. So if somebody's reading in class, for example, okay, and they have dyslexia or dysgraphia or something where they make mistakes while they're reading, do you chime up in the back of the classroom and tease the student? Of course, kids do. They should immediately be disciplined, spoken to one-on-one, and made, to understand that this is not something the person can control. I've often given reading assignments, short essays about dyslexia, to students who have done that. So and these are all part of the weekly lessons with TADA. The kids read articles, they learn about different abilities, they learn how to talk to one another. just don't point it out, because anybody can have a day where they're stuttering. Anybody can have a day where they have a cold and they can't read aloud and the teacher calls on them and now it's their turn. Do you want to be on that end?
Right.
You don't want to be receiving it. So if you don't want to be it and you don't want to be getting that treatment, don't do it to someone else. Golden rule, err on the side of right. So we talk about that all the time, every single lesson, just treating people the way you want to be treated, and do not make assumptions, because you do not know. You never, ever know what someone else is going through.
So with the clubs, do they have a way to go and infiltrate throughout the school and create those lessons?
Oh, I'm so glad that you asked me that. So about 4 years ago, so this has been, since 2008, and I'm constantly revamping, constantly adding, like Bruce Pulver. I'm taking a bunch of his words, how he turns them from negative to positive, right? Like fear, I don't know the exact words he uses, but fear, it could have a negative connotation when you detail it out, or a positive one. I'm making that an entire lesson using his TED Talk. I'm so happy he gave me permission to do that. And so that's going to be included in TADA. When the 13 Reasons Why series came out, that was a big one. I had to write lesson plans for the parents, for the kids, because kids were watching it alone and it scared me. But
I'm afraid to even watch it.
My husband saw one episode and cried. The very last episode of the second to last season that led to the school shooting. And he's like, you watch this? And he cried. But I used to teach the book to my reluctant readers. And the book is not, to my 8th graders, it's not like the show. The show took it to times 50. But I knew kids in school were reading that book, 13 Reasons Why, and then they were going to want to watch the show. And the difference scared me. So I jumped off and wrote lessons for that to help the teachers, the TADA crew leaders with their kids to maneuver through that show. But yes, so 4 years ago, I started doing what's called leave behinds. And it started in the fall, where the kids would do a lesson about what they believed, their stereotypical beliefs about people with different abilities. They'd write them on the front of a leaf. And then on the back of the leaf, they would write the truth. And they would dump them all over the hallway. So they spent the whole club time for 2 weeks making these leaves, and they literally left them behind, right? For fall, they got permission. So of course, the teacher took it to school. You have to pick it up later. But when the kids came to school the next day, there's all these fall leaves everywhere. And on the front, I was wrong when I said, I'm leaving it. On the back, I was right to think I'm falling for this belief. And that was one. So like with Bruce's idea, they're going to make posters and they'll have a word can be this negative or this positive, and they'll put the posters around the school. So it's not every single week, every couple, 2-3 weeks, they do rotate out the propaganda, if you will, that's around the school for anti-bullying and differently abled awareness. So the whole school gets exposure. And I do have many schools where principals will assign kids to the class if they're noticing they're either being bullied or are bullied.
Wow, what a beautiful, organization you have created for the United States and hopefully the world, because we have the way to make this infectious and infect the rest of the population with anti-bullying. And this is a beautiful passion that you have.
Thank you. It really stems from understanding what is bullying, that there are resources out there, that it is never an excusable behavior, but it really fundamentally, you have to teach kids, first of all, the number one group that's bullied are those with different abilities.
Yes.
So teach them about that. Teach them how to interact with each other and accept each other for their differences, for their sexuality, their religion, their whatever. Teach them that explicitly. The kids need to be taught explicitly. They're not going to pick up these behaviors by osmosis.
No.
You have to hold their hand. That's just like you do the first time you cross the street. This is street crossing emotional behaviors. You have to hold your hand right through it. So, they're never too old for it. Never too old for it. So there's that. And then, like I said, we move on to the bullying and celebrate Anti-Bullying Awareness Week. And it's a beautiful, beautiful organization. I'm very proud of it. I fund it. It goes through the school's 501c3s. So anybody who runs a club, all they do is show up open the weekly curriculum and have fun with the kids and make a
Wow.
difference. Mhm. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
story with us today and sharing TADA with us.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to root for you for the, next crown. What's the next crown?
Hopefully Regency International, the big worldwide title, hopefully. Classic Regency International.
We are rooting for you, Kim Emery-Poulin.
Thank
And
you.
how can people reach you?
They can reach me at kpoulin, Poulin 1217 at gmail.com or on Facebook, ccpnmedia.com.
Because there might be other people who want to
Yes.
use your curriculum. And I think that would be a beautiful thing. We need to spread this curriculum out throughout the world because
I
it's
would love that.
much needed
I would
now
love it.
more than ever. So thank you so much. And thank you, viewers. Women have needs too. Right now, we need to stamp out bullying. And you can do that with Kim Emery-Poulin's TADA. So thank you. Have a great day. Stay inspired and stay empowered.